Tonality is another word for saying what key a piece of music is in. Now, the vast majority of the music that you'll be familiar with will be tonal music. And all that means, if a piece of music is in a major key or a minor key, what that means is that the notes from that piece of music are taken from the major scale. And so that's all we're talking about. So remember, tonality, it just means what set of notes, what scale a piece of music is based around. So let's have a look at some tonalities. So the major tonality, a major scale, we've got a C major scale here, and it sounds like this. And it's got a distinctive sound, it's got a major sound, because of the combination of distances between each of the notes, the intervals between each note. We've got tones and semitones. A tone is a distance, well, it's easier to think of semitones actually. So a semitone is the smallest distance between two keys, so from C to C sharp to D, E to F. And a tone is two of these. So this would be a tone. So the C major scale, we've got from C, it goes up a tone, then another tone, then a semitone, a tone, 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 and then a semitone. And so this is really a 7-note scale, and in any 7-note scale, we're going to have 2 semitones, and the rest of them will be tones. So the best way to think of this, really, any major scale will have a semitone between the 3rd and the 4th note. 1, 2, 3, 4. So between 3 and 4, and 5, 6, 7, between 7 and 8. Okay? So this is the same with any scale. You can have the C major scale, the G major scale, the D major. All of them sound the same, but they start from a different note. So if a piece of music is in the key of C major, then all that means is that it takes its notes from that scale, or its notes are related to that scale. So here's an example. Here's Amazing Grace in the key of C major. So notice that all of the notes are white notes, and that is because the C major scale is only white notes. Now we could take that same tune and transpose it to G major. So G major has the same combination of tones and semitones. So it's got a semitone between 3 and 4 and another semitone between 7 and 8 here. So notice to get that now from G, we've got to include an F sharp. So we can use the same melody and transpose it to G major. So this time we're using notes from the G major scale, but it sounds the same. And you can do that in any major key. This is A major, in B flat major, and so on. So all of the major scales, they sound the same. And if a piece is in a major key, then it takes its notes from that major scale. Then we've got minor, and we've got a few different types of minor, but we'll focus just on the simple natural minor. Here's the A minor scale. It sounds like this. And here we have we've got another set of tones and semitones. Again, it's a 7-note scale, so we've got 2 semitones somewhere in here, and this time it's between the 2nd and 3rd. So that's 1, 2, 3. So there's the semitone there. 2 and 3. And then we've got between 5 and 6 as well. And that's the same with any minor scale. So if we play a piece and it's a piece in the key of A minor, then it will be notes, these notes that we're using. So let's try that. Okay? Notice, by the way, that A minor is all white notes, just like C major is all white notes. And that's because these two keys are related. Because A minor is the relative minor of C major. But more on that in another video. We can transpose that piece to E minor with the same results. So E minor, it's the same combination of tones and semitones. So we've got a tone and then a semitone between 2 and 3. And then another semitone between 5 and 6. Okay, so that piece again in this key, in the key of E minor. Okay.
Now, thinking about tonality in general, I'd just like to summarise. So there are three main tonalities. Tonal music is the first and most common tonality. Tonal music consists of either major or minor, and this means that a piece, say in the key of C major, that just means that the notes from that piece are found from the C major scale. Or you might have a piece in a minor key. Okay, so that's major and minor, that's tonal music. Now before this came about, composers used modes. That would be modal music. And this is just another set of scales, and I'll talk about that in more detail in a minute. Okay, so we've got tonal music, modal music, and then the last category is atonal. And that's all about music which doesn't have any key center at all, and it uses notes from the chromatic scale, and I'll discuss that later on as well.
Now, modal music just means a piece is based in around a mode, around the notes of a mode. And they've actually been around for much, much longer. They've been around for hundreds of years and were around before major and minor were thought of. So we've got 7 modes, and each of them has just a different character. And so if you've got a piece in the Dorian mode or the Mixolydian mode, then it's going to use notes from those modes. Now you may have noticed that all the scales I've shown you so far are 7-note scales, and we call these diatonic. So if a piece or if a melody is diatonic, it just means that it's taken from a 7-note scale, either major, minor, or a mode. Okay? Now there are some non-diatonic scales as well. One example of that is the chromatic scale. So the chromatic scale is all 12 notes, and each one a semitone apart. And this is where atonal music really comes in, because in atonal music you don't have any one key center. No note is more important than another. Atonal music takes notes from every single note from the chromatic scale. We've also got the pentatonic scale, which is a 5, pent meaning 5. It's a 5-note scale. Here's the C major pentatonic scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back to C. This is a scale used a lot in the music of China, sub-Saharan Africa, and it's also used in lots of folk music and pop music as well. So when asked to describe the tonality of a piece of music, all you've got to do is work out what key it's in. Now, in another video, I'll talk in more detail about how to work out the key if you don't already know it. But it's going to come under 4 four categories: major, minor, modal, or atonal. Okay, it's going to be one of those. The other question is, does the key change at any point in the music? So you'll have to give a bar reference or something like that. And remember, always say what effect the tonality has on the music. Major keys sound happy, uplifting, energetic, positive. Minor keys are sad, serious, somber, things like that. Okay, so it's really important to give the intention of the composer to get full marks in your answers.
One, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. Put your glad